This is China. China is a bad neighbor. It has 17 territorial disputes with its neighbors on land and sea, and if it ever comes to space, they will have a dispute up there too. One such dispute is between China and Taiwan. In the first half of the 20th century, Japan invaded China twice and occupied most of the Chinese heartland. At the end of the World War II, when the US bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan surrendered and withdrew its troops from China. As soon as the Japanese left, the civil war broke out in China between the communists led by Mao Zedong and the nationalist forces under Chiang Kai-shek, both sides wanting to rule China. Communist forces emerged victorious, and nationalist leader Chiang Kai-shek along with his 2 million anti-communist supporters fled to Taiwan, this tiny little strategically important island. Since then, China has been trying to integrate Taiwan into its fold, and now China is desperate. But the question is, why is Taiwan so important to China anyway? Two simple reasons. First, location. Taiwan is an island that separates the South China Sea and the East China Sea. If China takes over Taiwan, it would be able to project its power in the Western Pacific region, and in the future could even threaten US military bases located in Guam and Hawaii. The second reason is economics. This tiny island nation has GDP of $600 billion. China is 267 times bigger and has 58 times more population than Taiwan, yet its GDP is just 10 times greater. That means on average, every person in Taiwan is 6 times more productive compared to mainland China. Much of the world's everyday electronic equipment from phones to laptops, watches and gaming consoles are powered by chips made in Taiwan. By one measure, a single Taiwanese semiconductor company, TSMC, has over half of the world's market. If China takes over Taiwan, it gets all of these economic benefits and very unique leverage in the global market.
We don't have the ability to make the most advanced chips right now. But today, 75% of the production takes place in East Asia. 90% of the most advanced chips are made in Taiwan. China is doing everything it can to take over the global market.
In short, Taiwan is one of the most strategically and economically important regions in the world, and that's why China just cannot let it go. But if China is so desperate, why hasn't it been able to take over Taiwan yet, just like it took over Tibet? The answer is a love triangle that exists between China, Taiwan and the US. In 1949, Chinese leader Mao Zedong wanted to invade Taiwan, but suddenly war broke out on the Korean peninsula between communist North Korea and South Korea. To fight off the communist influence in the Pacific, America formed an alliance with Taiwan and forced Chairman Mao to drop his plans to invade Taiwan. From there began the US-Taiwan friendship. 36 years later, in 1986, Taiwan underwent major political reforms and became a democracy, the very system that China hates the most. If that was not enough, the new opposition party of Taiwan called for an independent Taiwan. 10 years later, in 1996, to meddle with the elections, China again tried to use its military might to threaten Taiwan by conducting missile tests near the coast of Taiwan.
To the first free elections of a Chinese leader in 5,000
China
years.
announced Friday that it would start the new military exercises less than a week before Taiwan's presidential election.
I think it is a very bad mistake on their part to put the impact area so near to Taiwan. I deplore that decision on their part.
America was again quick to respond with the biggest display of military might in Asia since the Vietnam War.
Diplomatic trouble may be brewing again between China and the United States.
President Bill Clinton sent America's best aircraft and guided missile carriers directly here to Taiwan, and China backed off. But a lot has changed in the last 20 years. China has built a formidable navy, America's global influence is on a decline, and Taiwan has emerged as a full-blown democracy. The young generation of Taiwan is intensely anti-Chinese, so much so that it has become difficult for China even to have deeper economic ties with Taiwan without facing any opposition from young Taiwanese people. This has helped a pro-Taiwan independence candidate in winning the 2016 presidential election.
China! No! Say yes to Taiwan!
We are an independent country. We have the military and we have elections.
All of this has disturbed and pissed off China, and China is flexing again. In the year 2020, China started sending its military aircraft into Taiwan's air defense zone without informing Taiwan. This time also, America came to Taiwan's aid along with Canada with its most advanced weapons and entered the Strait of Taiwan. Only this time, China did not stop. it actually started sending even more Chinese aircraft every day. In the same week, China's state-owned publication published this article. Time to warn Taiwan secessionists and their fomenters. War is real. Taiwan is just 100 miles away from China while the US is 6,400 miles away. If China invades Taiwan, all Taiwan can do is try and slow down the Chinese attack while waiting for outside help. Even if America arrives on time, we have to keep in mind that both the US and China have nuclear weapons. That is the scenario everyone should avoid. Once you start a conflict, you don't get to control its outcome. It can lead countries into self-destruction, and thanks to Einstein, with those nuclear bombs, the entire world can go down with them. Despite having great military and strategic advantages, the only thing that is stopping China from invading Taiwan is that unlike Russia, China's economy is fully integrated into global trade. It won't be able to handle economic sanctions. European countries are dependent on Russian energy, and that's why they hesitate to act against Russia. But in China's case, if people stop buying Chinese stuff, its economy will collapse, leading to political instability in China. On the other hand, if it engages in armed conflict with the US here, back here in the Himalayas, there is a risk that India might just take this opportunity to capture important regions. And up here, the Tibetan independence fighter would very much like to do something about taking back the control of Tibet. To economically support my efforts to create well-researched videos, you can either buy books from my affiliate links or send me super thanks. I thank my donors and Patreons for making it easy for me to create well-researched videos. Smash that like button if you find my content useful. That's enough for today. See you in the next video.